Hi guys, today I'm gonna talk about like how do we introduce language, a second language and foreign language to a child who already acquired one language. And first of all, I want you to make sure that you don't treat the second language the same way as you treated the first language. And you know what's the reason why it's so important? It's just because when a child acquires first language or multiple languages for the first time, at the age from 0 to 3, this is the time where the first language happens, the basics. So what we do here, we apply SLP methods. So we exaggerate pronunciation, we talk to our kids, we reply to their communications, and we read from time to time. But reading is not about what we read. Reading is about that we sit together with the child, that we open the same book. Our attention is both attention and yours and child directed to the book. It can, okay, to the book you point with the fingers to the lines of the letters and you install the connection. The child follows you. The child realizes that there is a connection between sound and letter. You both pay attention to the pictures. You describe those pictures. This reading part is not about like what you read, not about the literature. But what is the most important part about the reading, that you connect with your kid. You install the like communicational skills, which is joint attention. You show that there is morpheme and phoneme correspondence between those things. This is what is crucial about reading part, right? So for the first language, what you do, you exaggerate your pronunciation, you talk, you reply back to the child's communication, and you read, but with the purpose to show the like communicational parts of that process. When we by some reason want to introduce a second language after the foreign language later in the life, when the child already speaks one language, those exaggeration of the intonation is impossible if you, for instance, are not proficient in that language. For instance, I'm not proficient in Chinese. Exaggeration of the intonation is kind of like make no sense, because even if I exaggerate, I do it wrong. Then talking, I don't have proficiency to talk. Replying to his conversations, I only can reply if I use the Google Translate, right? At this moment, like, what are you asking, right? And then reading is also impossible without effort. What else? Okay, one more thing that is, I see it all around, is that you try to implement immersion, because by some reason everybody believes that immersion is the way out. So that's the best way how you can acquire languages, through the immersing. So the Americans believe into that you can sit and language is gonna effortlessly enter your consciousness, right? So what they did back then, they said, oh wow, no child left behind program from the beginning of the thousands, when they just dumped immigrant kids into the schools with the hope that they either sink or swim without without supporting instructions. And you know what happened? They all sank. The point is that even if you dump a child in the environment, it's not gonna bring use unless there is a mediator, a human who can, through instructions, scaffold the language of the child. Which is so that's why I don't recommend you, because it's very easy to create trauma with the immersion, and positive results of immersion are going to show up only in the 2, 3, 4 years. No, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 years, right? That's data from research from where? From the Canadian French immersion. Everybody knows about that. So no immersion, because no days, no Mondays, Tuesdays that you speak heritage language. I strictly don't recommend you, because you can just piss off child and like make him unhappy. Then what is another difference between the first language and second language, is that the child at age starting from 3 and above has an agency. So the child has a power of saying no, right? You're teaching that. So the power of saying no to you too. If the child says, I don't want to talk to your relatives in this language, thank you, and then you have to follow the child's lead. Unfortunately, there is no exclusion. If the child says no, you can convince, you can bribe, you can do something about that, but you cannot force child to learn, because forceful learning never brings any results. So ask for consent. Do not immerse, ask for consent. Do not treat the first language as the as the do not treat second language as the first one. And what else? So okay, no, if we don't do those things, what we can do? And we can do first, pick functional, useful phrases and like bundles of phrases. I'm gonna explain you. For instance, the phrase give me, then you give three nouns, three different objects of what to give, right? First is apple, give me apple, toy, and noun, then adjective, no adverb. So, and then give positive, negative, or question to that phrase. In this case, we have give me something. Then the negative is going to be I won't give you something, all right? And the question for this phrase, will you give me something? So learn all these connected to each other phrases. So when you say I don't give you, and you ask give me, I don't give you, or I won't give you. So learn the entire bundle. So phrase, core phrase, few objects to that phrase, and question and negation, right, to that. Learn that in that order, but as a bundle. Once practice that several times, no longer than, let's say, 3 minutes or 5 minutes a day, 3-5 times a day, right? Several times. Return to that, and then when it becomes automatic, move forward to the next one. Because what I noticed that she wants to communicate right away. She doesn't want to know anything about I don't know, lots of vocabulary, but she wants to be able to use it right now. So that's how we ended up. Then the best way how to practice new words is through TPR. TPR is total physical response. So our first book in Chinese was about skating, ice skating, I think. So it started left foot, right foot, forward, backwards, spin around, and clap your hands. So what we did, it's like it worked subconsciously for me. I just jump out, and we were doing like zua jiao, yo jiao, and every time when I said one of those words, left, right, we lifted the right foot, left foot, zua jiao, yo jiao, zua jiao, yo jiao. And for many other things, for objects, for instance, when we learn a house, and she was running from door to window, from touching walls. Every time when I named the part of the building, she was running to the door, touching the door, then to the window, touching the window. So, don't know why, but the kids at that age, probably like from 5 to 10, they are so happy to do TPR. Never underestimate the power of motion for them. And finally what? Don't be intimidated with your improficiency. That's much I can tell you. So learn words with the pronunciation that you have. Don't get stuck. Don't wait for the better opportunities. Don't wait for the for the times when you become proficient speaker of that language. Like learn as you go, right? If you are not proficient in that foreign language, for many English speakers this is the case too, not many can actually communicate or conduct the communications in this foreign language about the routines. So don't get stuck about the routines. All you have to do is to just stick to the most frequent phrases and words, so the child and you can use those words for the immediate communication. So I have a longer video on YouTube, like almost half an hour, explain all those things and basically rambling. So if you want to check it out later, and I wish you a fantastic weekend. Let me know if you have any questions. We'll be happy to answer.